Deze podcast is powered by ACC ICT, de nummer 1 Kubernetes specialist van Nederland.
Ja? Nou, laten we
Welkom bij een nieuwe aflevering van de Nederlandse Kubernetes Podcast. De podcast over Kubernetes voor iedereen. Ik ben Ronald Kers en ik zit weer met...
Jan Stomphorst.
Of nog steeds met...
Nog steeds, altijd.
Altijd. Ja, we laten elkaar niet los, hè?
Oh nee.
Zo dicht.
We zitten hier op het beste event van Nederland.
Ja, de Dutch Cloud Native Day.
Ja,
Ja.
één keer per jaar is er zo'n verschrikkelijk goed event.
Nou ja, precies. En waar iedereen bij moet zijn. Dus,
Ja. Volgende keer mis ik jullie niet, onze luisteraars.
Ja.
Met een fantastische gast.
Ja, a fantastic guest. Way overdue. Welcome, Andrea.
Hey, hello folks. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, the pleasure is all ours, of course. But for the people who don't know you yet, I think that's almost impossible. But could you please introduce yourself to the listeners?
I'm flattered, honestly. Yeah, my name is Andrea Giardini. I am a cloud native consultant and trainer here in the Netherlands. So I'm based in Amsterdam. I work mostly remotely. But yeah, I do all kinds of things around cloud, Kubernetes, containers, platforms, you name it, pretty much. I focus mostly on companies that work with data. So data platform and data engineering is also something I've been getting into over the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just enjoy, in the infrastructure world, I just enjoy communities like this one today at Dutch Cloud Native Days.
Yeah, and how did you get started in the IT? Was it always a big dream of yours to work in this landscape?
Yeah, man, I think I definitely knew that I wanted to do something around IT since a very young age. Even during high school, I was like one of those like IT guys, like assembling computer, formatting, or installing Windows. Maybe, cracking some copies of Windows here and there. Maybe. Not admitting to anything. But yeah, I knew...
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
That's a magic word nowadays.
But, I always liked computers since a very young age. And, I was not really sure where I would end up, like more programming or infrastructure or cloud and so on. But then during university, I attended more and more courses around like virtualization, virtual machines, this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, that's where it became really a passion and where I found my vocation, let's put it this way.
Okay, cool. And you have a talk here. Now I need to grab my notebook because it's quite a long title.
It is.
Kubernetes and AI to protect your forest. A cloud-native infrastructure for wildfire prevention.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
Can I say that again?
10 times fast?
Can you take us with you in what you talked about?
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, as I was saying before, I'm an independent cloud native consultant, and one of the clients I've worked with for the past, but many years on and off is a company based in the Netherlands called Overstory. It's a company that was founded in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, and basically they take an innovative approach about prevention of wildfires. Wildfires are events that are very destructive for our community, businesses, families, and so on. And until now, the answer to wildfire was very much, not so much on the preventative side, but more on the responsive side. Like, how do we react to wildfires as fast as possible?
But because they're hard to predict.
Because they're very hard to predict, indeed. But what Overstory does is doing it the other way around. How we can predict wildfire in the most effective way. And basically, they use a combination of satellite images and aerial images. They focus on fires that are caused by power lines, which are one of the most, frequent fires out there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
And power lines, are the power lines then falling off the towers, or how?
Power lines falling, low maintenance, a tree falling on a power line. Damaged power lines that go unnoticed for a long time, and then
a bit sparking.
Yeah,
maybe?
Sparking, dry climates, especially in the US or California. That's very common. But yeah, that's the idea. So we basically monitor those power lines using satellite images, and whenever we see the vegetation gets too close to the power lines, we notify the energy provider so they can go and trim the vegetation before a wildfire spreads out. So we really do preventative actions on wildfire.
Cool.
It's an interesting topic. It's something that people don't often think about as well.
Yeah.
And it's a topic that, it's very impactful. When you see basically what we offer to the energy provider is a map of their network, of their power network, and we assign a risk profile to every segment. So we can say, okay, this risk profile is very high because we detect that there is a tree that is closer than 1 meter to your power line. So there is a higher risk
Yeah.
wildfire spreads.
And you're doing that with AI.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we do a lot of machine learning at Overstory. So it's a combination of getting the vegetation data, like tree species, tree heights, and so on. A combination of getting the poles and lines from this utility company. So what are the poles? What are the lines? How many lines? What's the voltage that is going through those lines? And basically we combine those two data with our, own machine learning models, and we create a risk profile, basically.
Okay. So what I saw was you have like satellite images.
Yeah.
And you follow the cables or the energy lines, and you make a map of that.
Yeah.
And make a risk assessment of that line.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the technology behind that? Of course, it's something Kubernetes related.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, Yeah, definitely. So Kubernetes has helped us a lot in this regard because our workload, they take anything from like 2 CPUs and 4 gigs of memory to like 75 CPUs and half a terabyte of memory. So like our workload varies a lot depending on the input data or the area we are scanning, for example. And Kubernetes really gives us a lot of flexibility in this regard. You can create smaller machine, bigger machine.
Mm-hmm.
You can spawn up a machine, let it do a lot of work, and then turn it down so you don't pay for it anymore. And so, yeah, we've been using Kubernetes extensively since the very early stage, I would say, just because of this flexibility. Sometimes you need a machine with a lot of CPUs, less CPUs, a GPU, non-GPU. And with Kubernetes, it's not easy, but it's manageable. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, and does it work with the Juniper Hub? What you talked about? Is it they're integrated with each other, or?
Yeah, exactly. So Jupyter Hub is basically their Jupyter notebook in Kubernetes. Mm-hmm. So they allow our developers to discover the data that they get. In the geospatial world, there are many different file formats. It's like a new JavaScript framework every week. In the geospatial world, there is a new file format every week. And so looking at this data is not always easy. And our developers, they take a lot of time to explore the data that we get. And for that, Jupyter Notebook is fantastic, right? You can say, okay, I want this Jupyter Notebook with these libraries on this type of machine. And then they get like an IDE in a browser where they can, use all the computational power of a remote machine running in the cloud to explore the data. But then, as soon as they've explored the data and they know what to do with it, we try to make a production pipeline so that we can repeat the process over and over again in a regular way.
Okay. And also you said something about reliability tracking.
Yeah.
So what can you tell about that? How does that work?
Yeah, the problem with Jupyter Notebook for us was reliability. Like repeating the process over time, just using a Jupyter Notebook is very tricky. You need to be very disciplined with your Jupyter Notebook. You can do a lot of things in them, And we ended up in this loop where we had very detailed Jupyter Notebooks, but like reproducing the same experiment, reproducing the same things over and over, in the span of a year was very complicated.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because, every time you're like, which library did they use a year ago? Well, what version?
Right.
Sure. Or was this the final version of the Jupyter Notebook, or we had a more updated version? It was very difficult to track.
Okay.
And why did you not track that then? Because is Jupyter Notebook updating itself, or?
So Jupyter Notebook is just a way of basically running Python in an interactive way.
Yeah.
So you can track everything that you have, but you need to be disciplined at doing that. So it's a manual operation. You need to, list down a Jupyter Notebook. These are all the libraries that I use. These are all the versions of the libraries. These are all the system libraries or my Docker image that I use. It's a very manual process. It's difficult to encode it.
I would. I think I'm just thinking about it. I would put it in a pipeline and just keep your values in Git, and then deploy your pipeline with the same values and the same libraries and the layers, everything the same. that you could reproduce it really easy.
Yeah. This is what we do right now.
Okay.
So
You're way off the curve.
exactly what we do right now.
So I solve everything with pipelines. But
Well, once we got burned out with Jupyter Notebook, that's why we will switch to pipelines. Because as we were saying, like repeatability is important. Being able to run the same experiment twice with the same inputs and the same outputs is extremely important.
Yeah.
And this is why we still use Jupyter Notebook a lot for exploring data and testing, like doing quick experiments that are like one shot. But as soon as we know that we have a process that we want it to be repeatable over time, then that's where we build our workflow. That's where we build our pipelines and so on. And over there, then it's like pure Python code. There is no interactivity, no nothing. You have certain inputs, you have certain outputs, and the pipeline runs and does it for you.
Yeah, because you talk about Python, there's where Dexter comes into place, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dexter is a workflow orchestrator I've been working with for the past 3 to 4 years, I would say. We've started with version like 0.13, and now we're like at 1.10 or something like this. It's just a very good open source project, in my opinion.
and what does it exactly?
It's a workflow orchestrator. So you can basically code your pipeline with Python. So every function that you have becomes a step of your pipeline. And just, like calling one function from another function builds your pipeline. So it's a framework to create data pipelines.
Is it like what you have to say? Is it like with a dashboard you can draw the lines to the other, how do you call it, fields? And
Exactly.
connect them like...
But instead of doing it in a graphical way, you see a dashboard, you do it in code.
Ah, right.
So
So I'm a graphical guy. That's why I'm doing. You see, all these AI models are also like built on that principle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dexter does it in a Python first way, pretty much.
And why would you use Dexter and not something else?
I mean, there are many alternatives to Dexter.
Really?
There is Prefect, there is Airflow, many of them. For me personally, what I liked about Dexter, and in the beginning we had a selection, so we did a POC with like 3 different for orchestrators or something like this. What I really liked about it is that you can see, first of all, that it's a software that has been built by data engineers that were fed up of the other tools out there. And what I can see from my side, I'm more of a cloud guy, like infrastructure guy, is that they really built it with cloud native in mind. You can see that it's a first-class cloud-native citizen. The storage is abstracted, so you can store your files whatever you want. Local file system, S3, GCS, doesn't matter. Dexter abstracts it away. Processing, you can specify different steps of your pipeline to run with different resources. Maybe the first step takes a lot of CPU, and the second step takes a lot of memory. You don't need to run them on the same machine, right? You can have every step run on a different machine if you want to. And so, this architecture it has been built with keeps always cloud native as first class citizen. And this is what I really like about it. And we've been contributing to their open source project for a very long time.
Cool. And if you think about Dexter, you've got like Python workflow.
Yeah.
And that workflow, I'm just piecing things together. That Python workflow, for my imagination, could you help me to visualize a bit how does it work? Because a normal workflow, you've got like building Kubernetes image, checking Kubernetes in and pushing it, and then putting in it Kubernetes. But now you're doing it in Python. What are your steps? I'm searching for that because I
can try to come up with an example. Okay, let's say that you want to run some image processing pipeline, like we do for our site. So you have a very large image. You have an image that is maybe like 100 gigs. Like, satellite images can get really large really fast. Mm-hmm. You could code in Python one function, like the first function, that takes the image and crops it in small pieces.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have, for each piece that you have built, now you want to run some prediction algorithm, calculating the risk score on a certain piece of power line. Okay? And then you have one last step that takes all the pieces and recomposes the main image. All this, you can write it in Python with functions. So you have one function that splits the image.
Yeah.
several functions that can run in parallel, running your prediction algorithm, and another final function that waits that all the other functions are completed before recomposing the main image and recreating the large image. And all this, you code it with Python. So every Python function is a step.
Dexter helps then with overview, which step you are, and just give you a bit clarity, because I could do that in a simple pipeline script.
Yeah.
Just top down.
Yeah. But with Dexter, what you get is, first of all, a nice dashboard that you can just send it to your boss or, the person that is managing customer success, for example, like, hey, this is the status of your processing. You can see it here. Whenever this processing is completed, the image is going to be available for the client. And also it gives a lot of visualization. What if one of these steps goes wrong? Do you want to retry it? Do you want me to notify somebody? Do you want me to send you a Slack notification? Do you want me to just, scream at you? Like, you decide what to do.
Yeah.
Dexter just gives you like a framework. Basically, it just creates a framework around all this. It just makes this step a little bit more defined and opinionated.
Kost het beheer van Kubernetes je veel tijd en expertise? Maak kennis met ACC ICT. Zij ontzorgen je volledig met managed Kubernetes diensten op elke cloud. Gecertificeerde specialisten zorgen voor compleet beheer, 24/7 support en optimale beveiliging. Jij kunt je focussen op je core business, terwijl je Kubernetes-omgeving in betrouwbare handen is. Manage Kubernetes van ACC ICT. Jouw zorg, onze expertise. Bezoek accict.com.
Okay, cool. And that all is running Kubernetes.
Yeah. You can run also on other orchestrator, but we use it on Kubernetes. Yeah.
But I hear large file sizes.
Yeah.
Then there is a thing called data management.
Yeah.
I know you are, and you said you are the data guy.
Yeah.
So how did you manage the data?
So we store mainly things in object storage, following certain patterns, and we have many buckets in Google Cloud, and we store them in a certain with certain prefixes, with certain file structures, and so on, so that things don't get out of hand. For local storage, not local storage, but local testing, what we do is that we usually take and downsample some of the data. So we take the data that we have, and we either crop it so that we make like a small iteration of it. Or very often what we've built as well is that people can test their changes in the cloud directly. So when they modify their Dexter code, they can just attach a label to their GitHub PR, and this will spin up a dedicated environment in the cloud where they can test the code that is on that PR.
All right.
And this makes it a lot easier for them because, they don't need to set up their local environment. They don't need to get crazy with that. Everything is already in the cloud. They test it on their PR. They get a link in the comments in the PR, and whenever the PR is merged, the environment is gone. So
I like that model.
Yeah, that model sounds really nice.
Yeah,
very useful.
We implement that always also with a lot of customers.
Yeah, it's extremely developers love it. Honestly, developers love it.
Yeah, and you also talked about by the pipelines, like single to single and multiple to multiple.
Yeah. The idea is, with Dexter, but with many other workflow tools as well, we basically run our pipelines in two main models. So if the pipeline is sort of like constant, like it requires a certain amount of CPU and memory constantly throughout this execution, then it makes sense you just have one node. So you create one node, you assign that node to a pipeline, and then you run the whole processing on the same node.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes what happens is that you have pipelines that require very different amount of CPU and memory. Maybe you have the first step that is very lightweight. The second step is super heavy and requires a GPU. And then the third step is lightweight as well. So if your pipeline lasts 8 hours and you need a GPU just for 1 hour, well, you don't want to reserve a GPU for 8 hours.
8 hours, yeah.
Because this will get very expensive very fast. And so what you can do in Dexter is, for each one of those steps, you can define how much resources you need. So you can say, okay, my first step requires 2 CPUs and 4 gigs of memory. My second step requires 24 CPUs, 48 gigs of memory, and a GPU. And so that resources you will pay for those resources only while that particular step is running. So it's the difference between having a constant amount of resources throughout the pipeline execution, or to have different amount of resources depending on the step.
But Dexter then has to have rights to spin up a machine and spin down a machine.
Yeah, I mean, we do that in Kubernetes, so it will create and destroy pods, and pods go in pending state. There is cluster autoscaler that takes place. It's a whole
But that's not with GPUs.
But for GPUs, it's the same. So you have nodes that are like GPU enabled.
Yeah, okay. You've got nodes with the GPU enabled.
When they come up, we install the GPU drivers and all that fun.
Oh, you fixed that way. So it just starts up a pod with a label
exactly.
GPU.
Exactly. And when that comes up, node autoscaler says, okay, I need to spin up a node.
Yeah.
With this characteristic, it needs to have a GPU. When node comes up, all the NVIDIA drivers are installed. And once the node is ready to accept the workflow gets scheduled there and so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can go on.
Go on.
I've been talking a lot.
No. But we like to listen a lot. So I also think about observability, because this needs to be monitored and observed all the time.
Yeah.
So how did you fix that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, Dexter provides you already with like a pretty good web interface, I would say. It's very nice, it's very visual. But as the number of pipelines that you have grows and grows and grows, the number of teams grows and grows and grows, it can feel a little bit limiting. And of course, like the folks behind Dexter need to make money in a way or another. So of course, they have a nice cloud offering with all the observability that you want. But for our use case, we didn't feel like that was the right approach for Overstory. So we've built something in-house. So we have some, basically, we use OpenTelemetry and some pub/sub messages to publish to Google Cloud Monitoring and Google BigQuery. And this allows us to keep track of all the pipelines that are running in our processing system. And it allows us to do things like, okay, I want to know for this team how many pipelines are failing, or how often is this pipeline failing over the past week or month or 3 months, and so on? Is the trend upwards? Is the trend downwards? Are we reducing failure, or are we introducing more failures? So we basically use OpenTelemetry, a mix of OpenTelemetry and Google Cloud Monitoring to get this information. Out of the box, the dashboard is nice, but as you scale and you get bigger, it's just limiting a little bit.
Okay.
It can be nicer.
Always.
Yeah. And honestly, like beating Grafana for monitoring, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's an amazing tool. Like it works well. It has a lot of integrations. You can build all kinds of dashboards. So, it's difficult to compete with a tool that has been thought for observability.
Yeah.
Like
True.
Yeah, and also OpenTelemetry it's the keyword of the last KubeCon also. Yeah. Everybody's doing OpenTelemetry and they've got good rights to do it because it's an awesome tool.
It is. Yeah, we like it a lot. We use it in we run it mostly in Google Cloud Run, which is like a serverless environment pretty much. And I mean, it just works out of the box. It's you get the metrics, you define the metrics that you want, you remove the metrics that you don't want. It's very plug and play. Maybe it's like it's pluggable. Yeah, it's pluggable.
It's not plug and play.
Plug and play is too optimistic.
You still need to define what you want to metric and how much and how often. So you have to set up the rate limit. We have, I think, 2 podcasts about OpenTelemetry already online.
Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
We're getting more because it's an awesome tool.
Yeah, and a big topic.
Yeah.
It's a big topic.
Creating a standard about, monitoring and observability, it was long overdue.
Something else. I know you are an organizer.
Yes.
From the...
I don't know which one. Like organize a lot of things.
Then my question is getting bigger. What things are you organizing?
So let's say that I'm involved in two main projects I'm organizing. Like the first one is called Amsterdam.dev. It's a community for tech and all people around dev, cloud, based in Amsterdam.
And what does it do?
Basically, it came out of a need for myself and, for people around me. So first of all, I think LinkedIn is doing more and more of a poorer job at finding a new position. And especially, in Amsterdam, there are a lot of super cool tech companies that don't get the good space out there. They don't get the right visibility. So Amsterdam.dev is a way of highlighting companies based in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands in general that do cool things in tech. And basically, I'm pairing that with a meetup that I run monthly.
Okay.
So right now we're taking a break for July and August, but really from September on, I want to continue doing it once a month. And we do thematic meetups. So we had one about data. We had one about open source. We had, last month, we had a workshop about Dapper from Diagrid, another open source software, which is really cool. We organize some conferences. We're sponsoring actually Dutch Cloud Native Days. And the idea is to always have a meetup once a month and to make it thematic. So maybe in the future we'll do IoT or databases or front end. You don't know.
Okay. And of course, KubeTrain, you are involved in that.
Exactly. KubeTrain, I mean, the more I talk about it, the more I'm surprised how such an idea managed to come to life, honestly. I came up with this idea randomly on a summer day, and I never thought it would have become something as big as this.
Yeah.
For people that are not familiar, the idea with KubeTrain is bringing people to KubeCon, which is the annual conference around Kubernetes, in a sustainable and a fun way. This is the idea. So we try to make train travel a little bit more fun for these participants. We know train travel, takes a long time, can be expensive, can be, just boring sometimes. And basically, we try to tune it up. The idea is that you can travel to KubeCon with the KubeTrain. So you meet your local community on the way to KubeCon. Once you get the location of KubeCon, we organize a nice party to celebrate this event. And then you get to meet the wider community. KubeCon now, it's massive, like 15,000 people.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, KubeTrain has become, an important part of their journey. Let's put it this way. Because they really manage to meet the people that, are part of your local community.
Yeah.
Even if the trip is long, you're having fun. We managed to get discounted tickets, so we make the trip travel more affordable and more, just make it more affordable for people.
My KubeCon started at the station last time.
Yeah.
We had so much stalking to do in the train.
They almost missed the train.
Yeah, we always missed that train.
Because we were already talking.
We're talking with people which we met on the station already. And whoa, we need to go.
We have like 10 minutes left.
It was just a way to promote, sustainable travel and, to big conference. It's kind of conference to move a lot of people. And since then, we've done it twice. So we've done it in Paris, we've done it in London. Next year, KubeTrain is coming to Amsterdam as well.
Yeah, it's a short trip for us.
Yeah. But the year after, it's Barcelona, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be very, very nice. So we're looking forward to that one.
Yeah. I mean, we will still do like a nice party here in Amsterdam. We will probably have one train from London, one from Paris, one from Zurich, most likely.
Nice. Yeah, cool.
So, every time, whenever there is a community that is willing to, organize something like this, we're happy to support them. And the final party, I've been told it's one of the best parties.
Now at the last party was really good.
Nice.
It was really good. I was surprised how good it was. And I need to book an hotel in Amsterdam.
Okay.
Because I have to go to a party.
The party, yeah. Andre, not to keep too much more of your time, because I think we can talk for way longer than this, but let's save it for part 2.
Yeah.
Along the road. So our final question is always, if I would put a crystal ball here on the table, what would you like to see it in that relates to the future of Kubernetes?
That relates to the future of Kubernetes. Oh, well, that's
I rephrased the question.
Yeah, I was thinking, ooh.
My English will level up.
That's a very good question. I have as you know, I've been involved in community for a very long time. And this is what, KubeCon and Kubernetes was for me right at the beginning when I started joining this. I have the feeling that somehow in the way, like in the past years, more or less, we've lost a little bit track of that. Let's put it this way. So it has become a little bit more enterprisey. There is a little bit more, the whole ecosystem is getting
I can see what you're
so
talking about. Yeah.
In part of it, it's also natural and, it's just natural process of things. But I really would like to bring this sense of community a little bit back. And I feel like events like this one, more local, like Dutch Cloud Native Days. I've been to Swiss Cloud Native Days. I will go to the Cloud Native Days Denmark as well. They help a lot in bringing, the the community back, the real community.
The real community.
Because, KubeCon is amazing. I attend it every year and it's fantastic, but it's 15,000 people.
Yeah.
Events like this, this kind of size, 400 people, 500 people, they bring the community together and they're a lot more valuable, I think. So I would love to see more of these events, big, events like this that are nicer, community focused, where we talk about technology, we talk about what we do. Because again, there are a lot of companies, for example, in the Netherlands that do a lot of cool things that don't get necessarily a space on in a conference as large as KubeCon.
Right.
But here we can really showcase what they do.
Okay.
And I feel like it's really cool. And we should do more of that.
Yeah. Well, I will take it up with the organizers. Andrea, thank you so much for joining us. And I would love to give this a follow-up in the future.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Deze podcast is een initiatief van ACC ICT en wij zijn te beluisteren op onze website k8spodcast.nl via Spotify, Apple en alle andere favoriete podcastproviders.